Hello traders, it's Footy Trader from myfootballtrading.com, and today's video is a little bit different. We have a break for international football, so I'm not recording any videos at the moment to look at match odds and look at what market what the market is offering us and see if there are anything unusual, something that I would not agree with, but if I find something in the international football games, I will definitely post that on Twitter. But for this video, the main purpose is just to present to you my view on the differences between gamblers and traders. And why I am doing that, it happened a couple of times, and I've been on Twitter since 2014, that there were discussions between who is a punter, who is a gambler, and how it is different to trading and to being a trader. It was always a little bit funny for me, because people using betting exchanges called always themselves traders, and they were even insulted or felt insulted that if someone told them that you're just a gambler, you're not a trader, and he was saying no, I am a trader because I use the betting exchange, and there was always conversations in Twitter, very emotional number of times, people exchanging arguments and fighting, right, that about being called a trader or not. So I thought that I will just spend a couple of minutes to discuss what for me is three key differences between a punter and a trader, and differences in the approach. And I'm not saying that either one is bad or this one is better than the other one, not at all. It is just my response to the question of what the difference is, right? And how I would respond to that question. Yeah. So I have just a couple of slides to support this short video. So let me start with that. Here it's just a pure definition, right? So the punter, as per the definition, is a person who gambles, which equals risks money guessing, and it is a key word, I'll get back to that, guessing the result of something. Yeah. And the trader, it's a little bit more sophisticated definition. A trader is a person, firm, or entity in finance who buys and sells financial instruments. Yeah. So why is it that people feel insulted a little bit if they are called punters and they are using betting exchanges? It's maybe a topic for another video, but here are the three key differences in my opinion, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see what your opinion is. Now, the first difference will be trivial, but stay tuned. The difference number 2 and difference number 3 will be a little bit more hopefully sophisticated. Okay. So the first one, really, the main difference is, for me, is the need to use the betting exchange. Yeah, and again, I said that this one is trivial, and it is a little bit, but I want to start slowly on this. And if I am a trader, right, if I am buying and selling, I need the betting exchange to do that, where I can do both, right? Usual regular betting websites would not allow me to do that, and that's not a problem for a person who who is a gambler, right? Who is a punter? You can just go to Bet365 and place a bet and you're good. They use betting exchanges, right? Because the odds are better. But other than that, they don't need to use it. I mean, they can do everything they want without the betting exchange, which for a person who is trading is just not possible. It's just not efficient, right? So that's the first difference. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, a very trivial one, but that is the need to use the betting exchange. Now, difference number two is a difference in approach, and number three as well. So I'm hoping that this one will be even more interesting for you. Difference number two: the way to approach football match before kickoff, and this one is interesting because if we we are before kickoff, and there is a difference between punters and traders on how the match is being approached. If I take an example of a punter or a gambler, now again, as per the definition, right? A person who is guessing the result of something, who is trying to predict an outcome, right, of a football game. So the way punters approach football matches is that they try to predict what will happen. They try to guess what will happen. And it's not, okay, you can, I don't know, lay the draw, for example, but still you are guessing, right? You are just, the only reason for you to enter the market is that you believe something will happen, right? Arsenal, Manchester City last weekend, for example, you back Arsenal, right? Because you think Arsenal will happen. Of course, there may be statistics that back your selection up, that support your selection, but in the end, it's you enter the market because you predict what will happen. Yeah. Now, for the trader, it is a completely different approach. The trader, first of all, acknowledges that there is no way to predict the outcome of a football match, and it's not about that. For me, if you saw my previous videos, right, when I was doing the analysis, for me, the point, the decision point whether to enter the market or not is all about the odds. It's all about what the market is presenting. It's all about probabilities, and it's all about whether I agree with the market or not. What happens in the end, I acknowledge that I have absolutely no idea. Like last week, right? I backed Manchester City. I entered the market backing Manchester City, not because I thought Manchester City will win. I knew that I had no idea who will win, but I did it because for me the odds were good. And okay, Arsenal won 1-0, and that's not a problem, right? This is natural. As I said, you can't predict. So this is that difference, right? So again, before kickoff, the way of thinking, right? I don't think, if I'm a trader, I don't think in terms of what will happen. I understand that nobody knows what will happen. Arsenal can win 3-0, Manchester City can win 3-0, but I entered the market because the conditions for entering the market are beneficial for me, and that's it. Yeah. For punters, it's like, I think Manchester City will win. They won number of last games, statistics back me up. I do that. Yeah. So that's, I hope you can feel the difference, right, in that approach. So that's what happens before kickoff. The difference number 3 is what happens in play. And 1 point, and here it is. So difference number 3 is the way to approach in-play events. And again, it is completely different from those two different perspectives, right? Whether you are a trader or you are a punter. So for that, just to support what I'm trying to explain, is I will show you a very random Betfair chart for the match odds. So here it is. Yeah. So this is taken. Okay. So this is Getafe and Levante. This is match odds La Liga game. I don't even know when that game was played, which season it is from, right? But the key thing is that if, and by the way, if you look at the chart, you can, and this is a side note exercise, you can understand what happened most likely in this match, right? So Getafe started at 1.6, 1.65, then they scored a goal, right? The price dropped to 1.234. Then either there was a goal and 2-0 goal, and then Levante made it to 1, and then the price went up again, or maybe there was a VAR and the price dropped, but then the goal was disallowed, and then the price went up again, and then the price was dropping until Getafe won the game in the end. But my point is that where's the difference? Now, for a person who is a trader, and okay, here is the starting point. Yeah, here is when the game starts, and for a punter, the only thing important is the situation, the status, the result here at the very end. What happens in between doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. I mean, if I lay the draw, I mean, I don't care what happened throughout the game. What matters for me is the end result. If it's a draw, I lose, right? If it's not a draw, I win. And then the same with everything, right? If I back Getafe and they won, here at the very end, they have at least 1 goal difference. They won, I won. In the other cases, I don't. So this is how in-play events are treated by a punter, by a gambler. They don't really care what happens throughout the game, right? The end result is what matters. For a trader, it's completely different. It's quite the opposite, actually. The end result doesn't matter that much. Why? It doesn't matter because if you're trading, and trading means buying and selling, you profit from the difference in pricing, in the price. The price jumps. You don't care what the end result is, because when the game reaches out 90th minute, 93rd minute, your position is most likely settled. You don't care what the end result will be. You care about this chart as a whole. You care what happens throughout the game, right? So and I had that. If you check my my results, there were 2 games in my watch list last week: Lazio Atalanta, that I remember, and Sevilla Vallecano. So what happened in those 2 games was very characteristic, because I laid Sevilla against Vallecano, and then Vallecano went 2-0 up, So they went 1-0 up, then they went 2-0 up. Then when they were 2-0 up, I laid Vallecano, so I was involved in play. Then Sevilla made it 2-2. In the end, I made more profit than usual. Yeah. Sorry guys, I was interrupted there. Sorry. I'll get back to what I was saying. Right, so for the trader, right, the key thing is what happens until the 90th minute, what happens throughout the game, right? The Lazio-Atalanta example is very simple. I backed Atalanta to start the game, and then Lazio went 2-0 up. Then I laid Lazio, then, you know, Atalanta pulled 2 goals back and it was 2-2, and then in the end Lazio made it 3-2, but my position was pretty safe. So if I'm being involved and I trade, so I benefit, I buy and sell, I benefit from the price difference. The key thing for me in a football game is what happens from the first let's say 90th minute. For the punter is something very different. So that's difference number 3. There are some other differences that maybe I will not talk a lot about, but it is the whole psychology of trading. There is emotions being involved. I don't know, but punters tend to be more emotional. What I recommend, and it was, for me, it was very difficult to master, very difficult, was to detach emotions from what's happening. Now, I don't care if I have 3 greens or 4 greens or 5 reds in a weekend. It doesn't really matter for me. You know, I know. I mean, I'm confident with the approach, and it is a long-term game. It's not about being a millionaire over the weekend. So because I have you know, trust in my method, you know, I don't involve, the emotions are not involved. Yeah. So again, I will be looking very forward to your comments. Again, the differences that I mentioned was about the tools, so betting exchange, then the approach before the game, and the approach in play. I think these are the key differences, right, between the person who is only counting on predicting and trying to guess the result, and the trader who's really, the purpose is completely different, right? Not what will be the end result, but what will happen throughout the game. Yeah. So looking forward for your comments. Leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be in a while, until the, you know, after the international break. So have a good day ahead. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.